Hi guys, I just bought an IS300, a 2004 stick shift 5-speed with an LSD, with a factory LSD in it. And let me just walk you guys through my journey of why did I go with this car, and why did I go with this. So I have had a Toyota Camry 2018 for a little while now as a family car, and I upgraded that from a Civic Si, a 2008 Civic Si, because of like growing family, having a kid or whatever, and then needing a more reliable car or whatnot, and having more space in the back seats and stuff. And I don't know why, but I've always liked the sedans a bit more. Back in like 2015-16, when I first saw the Chevy SS, that was kind of like my dream car. I still would like to own that car at some point, but it doesn't make any financial sense for now, because like if I want a clean low mileage one, they're going for anywhere from like 55 to like 60,000 or whatever, and that's just too much. And then fuel costs and all the other stuff is, and also the chance of me getting into serious trouble, getting arrested or something, is like way higher than messing around in something like this that's much like underpowered, or is kind of like so I don't have a lot of experience with rear-wheel drive cars in general, so this is kind of like a way better starting point to get used to sliding the car, maybe like clutch kicking on the corners or whatever. And that's the reason, because of the low power of the car, I really wanted to get a manual one, because on the automatic in this car it's not really going to be all that fun. And I do want to learn how to heel and toe and all the other good stuff that I'm not really good at. So yeah, I looked at the Chevy SS. It was way out of my budget way back then. It's still out of my budget now. And then fast forward, last year I actually bought an IS250 that was pretty clean. It was an 08 as well. And but the issue with that car was that somebody had built it up already, and I didn't like the build, with the wheels, with the side skirts, bumpers and all that kind of stuff. But the only issue with the car was that it was lowered too far down to the ground. I'm a practical guy. I want a weekend car that I can basically put a hitch on and tow my bikes around and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And like, so the car is fun as well. The Camry is not really all that fun. No matter what you can do, the spring rate is pretty firm on it. It's not that bad. It doesn't beat you up, but like when you take the corners, it doesn't have the like worst body lean. But the car is pretty wide. The track is pretty wide. And then the engine in it is not too bad. The 2.5 liter does have a good kick to it. But I really wanted a rear-wheel drive platform, especially after messing around on the Civic Si. I really got tired of the understeer in the corners and all that stuff. So I really wanted to be able to like kick the car and then catch the slide and all that good stuff. So I was looking at the Chevy SS, and then I was looking at the Lexus ISFs, and I was like, that's not too bad. You can pick one up, like one with like 100,000 miles for around like 25,000. But the ones that were under that price range were the 2008, 2009 cars, and they don't come with even an LSD, and that kind of like really put me off. And I was looking at maybe upgrading to a 350, but you can't get it in a stick. But I mean, you can say that you don't really need a stick, because it does produce like 100 horsepower more than the 250. But I don't know, I just really want to get used to the stick and all that. So I had my 250 for about like almost like 6-7 months, and I didn't really even drive it, because like even taking a U-turn, it would just scrape like crazy. So what I basically ended up selling it for almost like what I got it for, and I paid a pretty good price for it, because like it was a pretty cool car. But I needed an exhaust on it, because the previous guy had just cut the muffler off, and it had a lot of drone, and it was just too loud between like 3,000 to 5,000 RPM, and then the sound did not go up any higher, and I did not really like that. So I had to raise the car, put new suspension on it. I had to put an exhaust and put an LSD, because I did mess around in it in rain, and it was not the most comfortable feeling, but you can't tell which tire is gonna slide. And when it switches over from one tire to the other, it kind of throws you off, and I don't have a lot of experience, so that was not very comfortable for me. So, and plus the car has less power than this one, and that blows my mind, because it's the next generation, it's the second gen, and you're actually, so the model that you gave a lot of power to, you took the manual transmission away, and then the car that has less power, you're putting the manual transmission, kind of like making up for that. But the point is that it still is like way too under power, like the weight penalty is too much on that car. Also, I didn't like the way the clutch felt, because it did have that damper, clutch damper thing, and I like looked up online and all that kind of stuff, and I couldn't find a way to get that deleted. So I don't know, I should have, but the thing is that there were so many other issues with the car that I just kind of gave up on it, and I really wanted to sell it. So I did ended up selling it in a few months, and then for a while I just gave up. I was looking at the GT86. I tested over a few of those. Pretty lightweight car, really sharp and like nice steering feel, good clutch, better gas mileage than this thing. But the thing is, the fact that I have a family, I have 2 kids now, so I do, in the hindsight, I do want to have a car that can be a replacement, like short-term replacement for the Camry. So I didn't really wanted a 2-door car to begin with, but I was just like kind of trying to like basically checking it out and all that kind of stuff. But in the back of my head, I knew well that I did not want that car. So yeah, and I was then looking at the GR86, and that was way better because there's no torque dip, plenty of power. But the same thing, I don't really originally want a 2-door car, and being limited to the fact that I go somewhere and I got family and friends, and then I cannot take anybody with me, because I mean, you have 2 seats in the back, but that's not really practical at all, and you for sure can't fit any basically child seats in it or anything like that. So that's out of the question. So, and then I kept coming down at the IS300s, 200s, 250s. 3rd gen, I don't really like it at all, because the grill just kind of kills it for me. So the 2nd gen, I already had the 250, and it had the damper issue. It had the other bunch of issues that I would have had to like spend like $3,000 to $5,000 to fix. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go with a big, and then here's the thing. So I realized that, okay, so on my budget and what I'm looking for, the IS300 is perfect. It's relatively lighter weight, comes with the factory LSD, and then it has, I mean, I would have liked a 6-speed transmission in it because I'm used to it on the Civic and the IS250, but I mean 5-speed is fine. You do kind of feel like if you're driving at 75-80 miles an hour, you do feel like it would have been nice to like have another gear ratio to drop the RPM down, but I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. You have to compromise at some point. So yeah, that's why I was looking around, and then I found this one. It was too expensive. 113,000 miles on the dash, no accidents or anything, pretty clean outside, inside. There's a few dings. I mean, it's a 20-year-old car, so of course it does have a few rattles inside. But I mean, there's no sounds coming from the diff or the clutch or anything, so that all that stuff seems to be like in really good shape. The previous owner did a bunch of maintenance, replaced the AC compressor on it, did the clutch damper delete, and then also upgraded the brake kit on it. So it has the stop tech rotors and pads and all that, and it's much better than the stock car, because my brother had a few automatic IS300s, and I know the brakes on those, they were not the best. So long story short, these are all the reasons why I ended up with the 350. Even though I do prefer the look of the 250, I'll put a little picture of the one that I had, the modified one, with the wing and the skirts and and basically the lip spoilers and stuff. Oh man, and the diffuser in the back. It looks like a mean machine, man. But basically, yeah, it didn't really work out for me.